Good afternoon YouTube, welcome back to another Anthem video. I'm PTT and this afternoon we're going to be taking a look at Anthem's End Game. Now the term Endgame can be interpreted in various different ways depending on what kind of player you are. For some it's the end of the story, for others it's the activities that are available after the story, and for some like myself it's a mix of both and more. It's about activities after the story is complete that keep you coming back to the game on a daily or weekly basis to partake in, and it's about high level, high risk, high reward, challenging activities that you can partake in on a regular basis with or without a team to get some of the best loot in game. Now, what kind of endgame will Anthem have? Well, let's try and answer that question for you in this video. One of the first things I want to talk about is Strongholds. Now, we've actually already seen several bits of gameplay relating to Strongholds, so I'm going to go ahead and throw some links in the video description to videos where you can check out this gameplay if you've yet to see it. The official Anthem livestream took us through the Temple of Scar back in December, and earlier on in the year we got to see gameplay of the Scars and Villainy Stronghold, and both look absolutely amazing. So what is a Stronghold? Well, it's not a raid, let's get that out there right away. No, Strongholds are more like very intensive dungeons and will always be completed in a team of 4 because if you don't load into them as a team, you will indeed matchmake into them. Now, having watched the gameplay of the dev team taking us through the Temple of Scar Stronghold, I can safely say that these activities look like an exceptional amount of fun to take part in, and as they are deemed an endgame activity, they of course are replayable and have the chance to drop some of the rarest and top end loot in the game, depending on what level difficulty you choose to complete them on. Now, the exact number of Strongholds that will be available to us at launch still remains a mystery, but I would imagine there will be multiple amounts of them, as the dev team have made it very clear that they want players to be able to take part in many activities and not just replay the same one over and over again. Now, from all of the gameplay that has been revealed on Strongholds, it's safe to say that they are raid-esque in their approach, as they do indeed have team-based mechanics to them. They have a lot of enemy AI, and from a difficulty point of view they are extremely tough to complete. But it is worth noting that they are not exclusive to Endgame, because you will also partake in Strongholds at lower levels in a bid to gear up in the form of loot and XP. Now, from an overall point of view, these look to be an activity I can see us as players spending many hours grinding through because of the level of rewards that can come from them, but only time will tell just how good they will indeed be when our characters hit the real endgame. Now, Strongholds are not the only endgame activity that Anthem has to offer. Back in late December, Ben Irving, Anthem's lead producer, answered a tweet about what the hardest thing to do in Anthem was. His answer was, at launch, Strongholds and legendary contracts. Now, at the point of this tweet, that was about all the information that was known about legendary contracts. But a few days ago, Mike Gamble, another lead producer on Anthem, tweeted to say that legendary contracts were replayable, dynamic endgame content that takes you out into the world to complete certain objectives. In a separate tweet, he was asked to explain what he meant by dynamic, and his response was that they will send you to different areas and ask you to do a variation of tasks each time. Now, to me, these are starting to sound a little bit like Destiny's bounties mixed with a bit of a strike feeling, or the Division's underground, or at least, you know, some kind of that style activity. Now, I could be wrong with that assessment, but from the little information we have right now, that's kind of the comparison I'm drawing to try and figure out exactly how these may play out. Now, no matter how they end up playing out, one thing is for certain: as a classified endgame activity, you can be sure to earn yourself some seriously sweet loot from completing them. Now, as far as what other endgame content will be available to us at launch, we have very limited information. I'm sure that there will indeed be more than just 2 activities, but of course this kind of information is the exact kind of information the team want to keep a secret, so that we, the players, can find out about them when we get there. I mean, there has to be some kind of mystery left in the game, right? Now, what we do know is that there will be more endgame content coming after Anthem's initial launch, but what exactly that may be remains unknown. Will it be raids? Will it be some kind of horde mode? Who knows? I guess we will have to wait and see. But one very pleasing bit of information we have recently received is that all post-launch content in Anthem will indeed be free. So yeah, that's something we can all look forward to later down the line. Now, as far as the minimal information we have on at-launch endgame content that isn't the aforementioned Strongholds and contracts, is actually an interview that John Warner did with Arekkz a while back, where he spoke rather cryptically about the game's endgame content, ranging from missions and challenges. Warner did, however, mention that the aforementioned activities will be on some kind of reset, but the details on how that will work are still a work in progress. But the aim is for the players to be able to benefit from them as required on some kind of regular basis, and this will give the player a reason to come back on a daily and weekly cycle. So back to the question I started the video with: what kind of endgame content will Anthem have? Well, it's safe to say that team-based and difficult endgame content will be in-game, daily endgame content will be a thing, and weekly activities like challenges and bounties will also make an appearance. Overall, even with very minimal information, it looks like Anthem have tried to cover all the bases in terms of keeping the player base active and busy, no matter what kind of a player you are, and that bodes really well. But we will have to wait a few more weeks before we can finally see the full extent of what the game will have to offer when the main storyline is finished. Now, I have a few personal hopes for Anthem's Endgame, but I think I may share those in a separate video later down the line, as for now I just want to focus on precise and confirmed information. With that being said, please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Now, unfortunately guys, that is going to bring an end to the video. I know it's been a short one, but as I said, the information we currently have on Endgame is very limited, but you can damn well be sure if any new information arises, I will be sure to cover it. As always, let me thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Have a nice day, and until the next one guys, I'll catch you all soon.